People need to realize like God is really real. God is real.
Sure. Amen.
And I'm sure you have your own personal testimonies where, I don't know if you have or have not shared with the world, but if I could speak on this real quick, since we're on like the whole topic of being a mom and everything. So when I got pregnant with my daughter, that was like a blessing to me. I felt like everything was perfect with her. Like everything. I had the support system, I had everything. But when I got pregnant with my son, I kid you not, I feel like my son has a purpose in this world, because the way I feel like the devil was trying to take me out, I feel like I was gonna die. Literally.
His pregnancy?
When I was pregnant with my son.
Oh my
The minute I found out I was pregnant with him, I kid you not, it's like it was go time for the, I swear, like when I tell you every day, Monday through Friday, every single day for 9 months, nonstop throwing up. From morning to night, nonstop throwing up. Kept going to the hospital, kept being hospitalized because I couldn't keep anything down. So I had to do IV therapy. Yeah, I had to do IV therapy. Passing out constantly. Just overall terrible experience. Now, when I gave birth to him, also labor was terrible. I literally at that point, I'm like, after 9 months of not being able to eat, not being able to keep anything down, not being able to sleep comfortably, not being able to do nothing, I was so freaking weak. So when it's time to give birth and I'm over here pushing him out, I had no type of energy. This boy ended up getting stuck inside. Like he was getting stuck in a canal. They had to cut me open. The doctor was like, yo, you have to push. Like, you have to push. If you don't push, like, it's going to be bad for both of y'all.
Yo. Welcome to the Lavish East Podcast, where we can talk about anything, but we love to talk about how we get to a bag. It is your number one host, A-Rod. And you know I got...
Rosie. Hi.
Hey. What's up? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I can't complain.
Yeah.
This is the first recording of the year.
Ooh, thank you. And I'm your number one for the year. That's dope.
You're the first lady guest of the year. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Shout outs to me.
Shouts out to that, for sure. Definitely appreciate you taking this trip out here.
Of course.
Yeah, I know it wasn't close.
Yeah, it was a long ride, but it's all right. We're going to make it worthwhile.
For sure. Okay, so let's just start all the way in the beginning. Like, where you from?
So I am from the Bronx, New York.
Okay.
And I moved out here 4 years ago with my husband. Mm-hmm. I'm from the Bronx. I've been living there my whole life. And yeah, my husband's from Queens. We moved out here. Originally, we was thinking about moving to Texas, but we didn't have any family out there, and he has his dad out here, so it just made more sense to come out here.
Definitely.
Georgia,
and then Texas is right there.
Yeah, but it's always good to have a space where you have your family,
for sure,
help and etc. And my daughter loves it. She loves that we moved out here. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's what's up. How many kids do you have?
I have two. I have a 2-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. My son just turned 2 on the 21st of December. So
hey, that's what's up. Yes, I had seen you posting.
Yes, that's my baby.
Fly boy.
That's my baby. Both my kids, I love them to death.
That's what's up.
But yeah, being a mom, I take major pride in that.
I see that, and that kind of brings me to the content. So your content is like you're the relatable mom.
The relatable mom on Instagram, yes. So and it's so crazy because prior to me, so this is how everything started. So believe it or not, I've been doing content for quite some time. I've just never stayed consistent. Mm-hmm. So like for those who know me, like I had a food page. I have a hair page as well. You said you didn't know I do hair, but I do hair.
Right, yeah.
I'm a traveling hairstylist out there in my area in Fairburn.
Wow.
So I do hair. I had a cooking page, but I've never really been consistent in that. And like everybody around me is like, girl, like you so good at, like making content and everything. Yeah. You might as well just like stick to it. So that was like one of my main goals last year, but it was towards the end of the year. So I told myself like this year, 2025, I'm gonna go all in and I'm gonna make sure that I stay consistent with my content and see where it takes me. Cause
From
you know?
January to January.
Yeah, from January
Yeah.
to January. That's it. It's go time. We're gonna get to the bag and we're gonna see where it takes us, you know. But
For sure.
that's something that I feel like that's something that I feel like I can be consistent in because I'm a mom. So being a mom
it
consistently
don't
every day,
stop.
like
Yeah.
it's not, you know, I'm not. You can't stop being a mother. So I'm just like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, and I like those pages too. Like it's so many different pages, but I don't know if you know like the Martin family.
Like the YouTubers.
I think they're on YouTube. They have twins.
I think you know what, because my daughter, she's like so fascinated with like these YouTube families. That's her thing.
Yeah,
So she's like
yeah.
addicted to like these YouTube kids and like them recording life. So that's something eventually I do want to do with my kids. But right now, I kind of don't want to have my kids out there like fully yet.
Oh, like putting them
out there yet. Just because one, it's kind of hard to kind of like get them to really stick with the program. Like, you know, you're trying to make content, you're trying to have everything organized and everything.
Yeah.
Kids are just going to want to do their own thing. And my son is only 2, so he's not really going to understand what's going on.
Correct.
So with my daughter, I mean, I could do it with her, but I don't know, I still kind of have that like mama bear instinct where I kind of want to protect her from the world and not put her out there fully.
No, I feel it. Yeah.
But yeah, eventually that's something that we do want to branch out on.
You've done like some skits with them though, right?
Yeah. But I don't want to like fully like, you know, YouTube is a whole different universe.
Yeah, that's their life.
Yeah, like I feel like Instagram is one thing, but then YouTube is a whole nother platform, and it's just like even though for the type of content that I am making, I feel like it's very profitable in a sense. Like I feel like that's something that, you know, you can really make money and monetize it. Yeah. But again, I just, you know, I'm not there yet. We'll see. Hopefully, you know, things change. But right now, I'm not there yet.
For sure. And you're also a Dominican.
Yes, Dominican mommy.
That's what's up.
Dominican mommy.
You're full Dominican?
I actually, okay, so this is my backstory. I am Dominican and Puerto Rican. I don't claim my Puerto Rican side because my father's Puerto Rican, but I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about that side of the family. So I don't claim it because it's like,
oh, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
but I was born there. It's crazy. I was born there. I came to America when I was 2. My mom married my father, and then they both came to America when I was 2 years old. So I've been in the Bronx since 2. And like I said, I just moved out here 4 years ago. So, but I'm Dominican, Puerto Rican. Don't really claim that side. So I just say I'm Dominican. But I'm fluent in Spanish. I read it, write it, speak it. So, yeah.
Do you like teach your kids Spanish and all that?
I do. So my mom, she's been in America her whole, pretty much as long as I've been alive. She understands English, but she doesn't speak it. Okay. So when I speak to my mom, it's only in Spanish. So my kids pick up on that.
Right.
It is a little hard to teach them Spanish just because in my household, I'm really the only one that's predominantly Spanish. Yeah. So I don't have like that type of dialect going on in the house because I don't have anyone else to speak Spanish to.
Right. Damn.
So it's a little hard. So when I do speak to my mom, I keep it on speaker so the kids can hear and everything. But they understand. Like my mom, she'll talk to them in Spanish and they'll know how to respond and stuff. But I do want to prioritize teaching them, even if it's not from me. I kind of want them to like either take it in school or I'll just put them in a program where they can learn themselves. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's hard.
Mm-hmm. It is hard. It's very hard because it's like you know you want to teach them, but then it's like when you're the only one, you don't have anyone. You know, you don't have that extra support.
It's just you.
It's just me. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I love it though. That's what's up. That's just a whole lot of like culture.
Yeah.
I noticed that mix a lot though. Like a lot of Dominican and Puerto Rican. Like,
yeah. I mean, we're right. It's like us, like Haitians and Dominicans too. Like we're all within the same pretty much island. Like we're, you know.
Because Puerto Rico is like, it's like over a little bit. It's a smaller island, but it's just, you know, a little bit of water separating it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. I don't know the backstory on how my mom and my father met, but they met, got married, and then they came to America. And that's just, boom. That's it.
Got you. And so you are married?
I'm married, yes.
How long you been married?
So I've been married for, let me see, we got together 2016. Ooh, we've been married for 6 years. 6 years. We've been official. So we got 9 years together, but
Yeah, I
we've
was
been
gonna
married
say,
6 years.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So 6 years. A beautiful family. I can't complain. I feel like God blessed me with everything that I ever wanted.
For sure, amen.
Yeah, he gave me the man that I've always wanted. I'm not struggling. I'm happy. My kids are happy. I'm well taken care of. And to me, that's a blessing because nowadays we see how social media is.
Yeah, see, so I wanted to talk to you about like, okay, because you actually like the first married woman on my show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a first of a lot. That's good. That's good.
For sure. Like we appreciate you over here at TLE.
Thank
But
you.
so you're married. So I want to actually talk. Like we hear so many cons and so many negative things these days about marriage. So like, what are like some of like the pros in being married?
I mean, to be
in your
honest,
opinion? I know everybody's
like,
marriage is different, but
yeah, I feel like how can I say this? Like, marriage is something that you both have to really work for together. Like, it's not one-sided. And I think that's what we see a lot on social media too. Like, women come on social media and they be like, they have a list of things that they want and expect from a man. That's not really realistic as well. And for men too. Like, I feel like from both sides, like, people want things that aren't realistic and they don't realize like you have to make sacrifices in order for something to work. So
compromise.
yeah, compromise, sacrifices, and it's a lot of work. I mean, I love being married because I feel like I have a man that, it's easy for me to submit to him naturally. Like, he's a leader, he's a provider, he does everything he needs to do. And I feel like I do my part as his wife and as the mother of his children. I feel like there's nothing really for me to complain about. I mean, it's not perfect. We have our moments where we argue. We have our moments where I'm tired of his shit, he's tired of my shit, I'm sure. But we always look at the bigger picture. Like, we both come from single parent households. So we always knew that, listen, marriage was always going to be the goal. And at the end of the day, like, no matter what, we're going to work through whatever issues we have. Because at the end of the day, we love each other. We love each other and we love our children and we love the foundation that we are working on, continue to building and establishing long term. So
it's kind of something that is about both parties actually wanting to make it work.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like,
that's the
it
key.
Can't be exactly. And I feel like a lot of times, like I said, people are just expecting too much from their partner. And a lot of times it ends up being one-sided. Like, for example, like if, you was to be married with a woman, you have expectations, obviously, for her as a wife, and she will have expectations of you as a husband. But then you kind of have to have a middle ground and be realistic on both ends. And just like you said, compromise. That's where the compromise comes in. Like, listen, I may not be able to meet all your needs, but I'm willing to do this. And
Vice versa.
And conversations, always communicate. I'm very big on that. I'm very big on communication with my husband. When it's things that bother me or when it's things that I expect from him, I make sure I let him know so that
I don't like that, or
and so that he understands, like, all right, what do I have to do as your husband to kind of like better the situation. And he's the same way with me. He'll be on my ass about things, and it's so crazy because prior to him, I wasn't used to that. Like, I hated when a guy would tell me about myself. Like, I was always on defense mode. Like, oh, what always ready to like be quick and argumentative and everything. But like, that's another compromise that I made. Like, now that we're married, I have to be able to take what you tell me without getting offended or without feeling like everything is a fight, everything is an issue, or I always have to say something. Obviously, if it's something I don't agree with, I speak my mind. He gives me that space. But I know that he's coming to me as a man and as a leader. And when he tells me these things, it's coming from a place of leadership. It's coming from a place of, hey, I think you can do better in this. I can see you doing this, that, and the third. This is how I would want you to go about it. And then I take it how I need to take it. And if I don't agree with it, I speak my mind. But that's pretty much it.
So you said that before you were married, you weren't used to that. So like, is that like one of the things that's different between being married and not married?
I think so. I grew a lot in my marriage. Obviously, the woman that I was in the beginning of our marriage is not the woman that I am now.
Right. It takes
It
time,
takes
it's
it takes
experience on
time.
your side and his side.
Exactly. So as
This
you
ain't this ain't no
grow,
this ain't no boyfriend and girlfriend.
exactly,
We
exactly.
we
We passed
what
that stage.
what
Yeah.
bonded by the state. Like it's different.
It's and to me is more
Y'all a
so
business.
spiritual.
For sure.
Yeah, it's
That
more.
first.
It's more so spiritual. Like I put God in the center of a marriage all the time. Like God is the center of my whole family. Like
Sure.
He is the center of our household. Like without God, there is nothing. So I'm very adamant about that. I pray over our marriage. I pray over our family. So I just feel like that's also been something that's helpful because it makes it more sacred. But yeah, no. Prior to that, I mean, it was rocky in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. Like having to adjust to being married. It's not something easy.
So that's crazy.
But-
That's crazy that like you were saying that because usually it just seems like it's like the man that has to get used to it and stuff. So like you also had to get
Oh
adjusted to it
yeah,
as well.
yeah. I mean, the mindset shift is huge, and even when you become a mom, is a whole different ball game. Like the way you think, the way you act, and everything is not the same as what you was doing prior to that. Like how I was, how I was. Like what? I'm 30. I'm gonna be 32 in February. I would say like yeah, when I was 22, is a whole different woman from what I am now. Like
For sure.
I was listen. I don't know if we could get into that right now, but yeah, like, meeting him, getting in a relationship with him, and then getting married, having children, everything, like the maturity level had to go up. Like I couldn't be thinking how I used to think, doing the things how I used to do, react how I used to react. Like it's levels to this,
I kind of want to know. We'll get into that later though.
Listen, New York Rosie, 22-year-old Rosie was just, I was outside. I was wilding, like not in like a hoe-ish type way, but like I was. How can I say it? Like
You didn't really
I had a mouth
care
to me.
too much.
Yeah, like I had a mouth to me. I was quick to react. I was quick. I was just like I didn't really like now. I can't go outside and react how I used to react because now it's like I gotta think about the consequences now. Like I'm a mother. I have a lot to lose.
Right.
Back then when I didn't have a kid, it's just like I ain't got shit to lose. Like what's up? Like it is what it is. I was always on timing with everything. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
Especially being from the Bronx. That's how I was born and raised that way. I was raised that way. So it's like
for
you
sure,
always
yeah.
gotta be on timing. When you grew up in the hood, it's a whole different type of mentality. I'm sure like
Definitely,
you
yeah.
know.
My parents, they both from Brooklyn. So,
Oh yeah, okay. So then you definitely
it's
know.
just-
Like
it's
it's
just
a whole
different.
it's a whole different ball game. So, meeting him, I feel like he definitely helped mature me. I feel like he definitely helped me become a woman. I can say that. I can give him credit for that because he taught me a lot of things that I didn't know prior to meeting him. Like,
Damn, I ain't gonna lie. Like that's how I know it's real. Like just the way like
Yeah.
you speak so highly.
oh
like,
no,
it's-
that's my man. Listen,
Yeah,
I'm
like-
gonna stick beside him. That is my man, and I do think highly of him because the things that he's done.
Yeah.
I've never had I never had a father figure, so I never knew what to expect coming into a marriage and what
From
to
a
expect
man.
from a man. Exactly.
Wow.
So seeing how he is just as a man, period, but even more as a father is
Yeah.
like I kind of live through him, how he is with our kids.
Well, because you're seeing something that you never seen
Exactly.
before.
So it's like I'm kind of living like that inner childhood through him.
And did he have his dad in his life?
So it was kind of rocky with him. It was like he kind of did, but he kind of didn't. His relationship with his parents was completely different from mine. Like I just had my mom, and then I had a stepdad. But growing up in that house, situation where it's four of us. I'm the oldest of four. I have a brother, and then I have a set of twin sisters. So the twins, their father was my stepfather. So when we grew up, I don't know. You know how there's certain situations where you grow up in a household. I don't know if you know because you have both your parents, but it was like
No, they split up.
oh they did okay.
Yeah, they got.
So
divorced.
he was kind of like abusive to me and my brother,
Your
my stepfather.
gotcha.
Yeah. More so verbally than physical. He was more physical abusive to him, but more so verbally to me. And then his daughters was like saints to him, so they didn't really get any type of repercussions. So growing up like that, it does a lot to you as a kid.
For sure.
So it's like the idea of even having a father didn't really mean shit to me, because it's like, all right, if this is what it is to have a father, then it's just like, what's the point, you know? Because it was like, yeah, you here, but you're not really doing nothing for me.
So it's kind of like trauma attached to it.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like a lot of people's childhood wasn't perfect. Mine definitely wasn't perfect, but that's where I try to like kind of like switch things up and kind of just break the generational curse and like just raise my kids differently. And I've always said it. I said, when I have kids, I'm going to be this mother. I'm going to be this, that, and the third for them. And I prayed a lot over them. And I just let God guide me into helping me become the mother and the woman that I'm supposed to be. So
wow,
that's my story. Mm-hmm.
I'm inspired. No, shouts out to that. So, okay. So when it comes to a woman, like, there's like a lot of, like they talk about like time clocks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do you feel like, cause you got married at what age?
My math is so bad. I was 24, 25. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So do you feel like you got married and had kids like at the time that you wanted to, according to your time clock?
I always knew I had my daughter I was 23 when I was pregnant, and I had her at 24. So I always knew that I didn't want to be in my 30s having kids.
So see, a lot of ladies be saying that.
I just,
But like, what is wrong with that though?
and not only for biological purposes, it's like obviously the older you are, the more issues, pregnancy
No, for
does
sure.
to the body.
Especially women of color, for sure.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, okay, if you're 25, like 5 years later, that's not really.
I
But a lot of
mean-
ladies be like, no, I don't want no kids at 30. So like at this age, be trying to kind of pressure dudes, and it's just like, I feel like we.
I get
20s,
it, because you guys are still. I feel like mentally though, men don't mature as fast as women.
for sure,
mentally.
Yeah.
So I kind of get why y'all feel pressured, because y'all being still young is like y'all still. It's a lot that y'all still have to discover about yourselves. But I just feel like I'm just speaking for myself. I didn't want to be in my 30s having babies, because not only biologically but also physically, like your body is not the same anymore. So it's like, imagine me being in like 35 having my first child. Like the energy is not the same. Your body changes like every 7 years. So it's like
I thought it was 10.
No, I think a woman's body is like every 7 years. I think it's different for us because
No, for sure. Yeah.
I think it's every 7 years. Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot. I'm gonna be 32, and I already be feeling tired. I have a 2-year-old, so I'm like, he's 2 years old, and he be running me through it. So I'm like, I could just imagine if I would have had him later on and having to deal with what I'm dealing with right now. Like, it's exhausting.
Right. Well,
It's
so
a
like
lot.
my mom, she had my sister at like 40. And I ain't gonna lie, like I was scared, you know what I'm saying? But like my sister Nevaeh, like she's good, she's healthy, whatever. But that what's it called? She got a short fuse. Like tolerance, like
patience.
patience, all that.
The
Like I be having to step in, like,
I'm
like
telling
just
you,
come over here for the weekend. You
that's
good?
the
Like
main thing,
my
too.
mom, she be. Whew.
That's the main thing too. I feel like the older you get, the less patience you have. And that's something that honestly I've been working on as well. I've never really had patience to begin with. So having children, like, it takes a different type of level of patience, because now you're dealing with other little humans who are literally depending everything on you. So patience is something that I really like every day. I have to pray for patience and for strength, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And I know a lot of women make motherhood look easy.
So
but
yeah.
it's
I
probably-
wanted to talk about that. So you are you? I know you're a hustler,
Yeah.
but you're a stay-at-home mom.
So yeah, currently I'm a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't prior to a couple months ago. My husband started a new business venture where I had to kind of like step back a little bit from my personal, work. and just stay at home because I for sure always said I never wanted my children under anybody else's care, especially like my son. He's only 2 years old. Like he can barely talk.
Right.
So I decided, I was like, you know what, I'll just stay home. And then that's when the whole content creating thing, because I was like, if I'm going to be home, I might as well make something out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how I started doing the content creating and everything. But yeah, I'm a stay at home mom. My husband works. And I do still do hair from time to time. So
you got to get that bag. That's, you know.
yeah. One thing about me, listen.
My mom, she does hair as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like growing up, like we had like a full-fledged salon in the house.
Yeah.
So even though she was, you know, home with us, she would be like hustling. Like we would look outside the window, and sometimes it would just the driveway would be filled with cars.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just
So,
making money.
That's one thing that's not gonna stop. Like, you know, me and my husband, we try to like compromise with each other, and I don't have as many clients right now just because I have to stay home mostly. I don't let nobody come to my house, so I travel to my clients. Yeah, so.
I mean, as you
and then I have
shouldn't.
kids. You know, I don't want people coming to my space where my kids are at and stuff. I'm that mom. I'm very protective over mine. Like,
no, for sure.
So, but yeah.
So, I was gonna say, like, you being a stay-at-home mom right now, like, I know there's I feel like there's a big misconception, like, oh, it's so easy, like they don't have to do anything.
Easy, child,
so,
please.
Because it's like, okay, the man goes to work, so it's just like, okay, if you're not working, you're at home.
And what y'all think we just sitting on our ass all day?
So that's that, and that is, I feel like that's the misconception.
That is a misconception.
So can you like let the people
elaborate?
know like what you do from, you know, like when you first wake up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so my day starts at 6:30 every day, Monday through Friday. I wake up, I get my daughter ready for school. Everything. I pack her lunch. I make sure she's dressed, bathe, shower, walk out the door, make sure she catches a bus. If my son is not up by that time, I go back to sleep for a little bit. But if he is up, I stay up. I clean. I'm always cooking. I'm always in the kitchen. Make breakfast, take the dog out, run errands if I have to run errands for the day. Make sure I get back home in time to make sure that my daughter, you know, is home at a reasonable time. Come home, I cook, clean up some more, and just really just do the same thing over again. And if I'm not doing clients in between that time, it's like, you know, it's always something. I'm always doing something. I'm never just home and like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit in the couch and not do anything all day. Like, I'm always doing something. So the whole idea of always just sit at home and not do anything is just like, no, like you always have to do something, whether you're cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, etc. It's always something being done. Making content in between, like I said, making content in between, doing clients' hair in between, etc. Like it's always something. I'm exhausted every day.
Wow, no, I believe it.
But I have to do it. You know, I have to do it because it's like, if I don't do it, then who else is going to do it?
Right.
But I can say my husband is very hands-on and he's very helpful. Like, I will give him that. Like, I know that a lot of women also feel the pressure of being a stay-at-home mom and they feel like they have to do everything with no help. I don't know if you ever heard the term of like, you know how to be like, oh, you're married, but you're a single mom? Like a married single mom? You ever heard of that? Like they're married, but pretty much it's like they're single because their husband doesn't like
He don't
help.
do nothing.
He don't do nothing. He just goes to work and come home. Like he'll see his wife is exhausted and just flat out tired and wouldn't even offer to like lift a finger.
Because he feels he put in the work for the
But
day.
my thing is too, is like, okay, yeah, like, you know, you bring home a check, granted, I'll give you that. But it's just like, these are your kids too. Like, do you not feel like you have any type of, you know, responsibilities when you come home?
Like your job don't just stop.
Yeah, your job, you're a father at the end of the day, unless you don't want to be a dad son and take that title away from your name and just be a husband. But then that doesn't work. You live in this household and you have children, you got to take care of your responsibility. That's just how I see it. I just feel like, you know, but that goes back to finding a good partner and somebody that you can, you know, what's that word? Bind well with, like you were saying earlier. But yeah, no, listen, for the people that think that being a stay-at-home mom is easy and we just sit on our ass all day, that is not it. I can't speak for every mother, but I'm speaking for myself. That's not the case. So
For sure.
That is
Like
not the
that.
case. And I think I don't know, we follow each other on Instagram, so I think you kind of see like what my day-to-day basis look like. I feel like I'm always doing a lot. Like
Yeah, that's
I'm
why. That's
always
why I
doing a
wanted
lot.
I wanted you to tell the people because I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, this is like, wow.
I do
Jeez.
a lot, so it ain't easy. But, it's always rewarding seeing how your kids kind of like develop the characteristics that they see you have. Like people always compliment me so much on like how well off my kids are. They'd be like, your kids are always well mannered, they're well dressed, they're well this and that and the third. And I'm like, yeah, because I put a lot of work and effort into being a mother and making sure that I'm providing everything that they need. So,
So is that one of those compliments that just really like, that's like a top tier
Oh
compliment?
yeah. Listen, I feel like as a woman, when you're a mom, when people acknowledge that you're a good mom, that's like, can't nobody take that away from you. When they acknowledge that you're a good mom and a good wife, that's top tier, for sure. And I get acknowledged for both, so I love that for me.
That's what's up. I like that. I like that.
I love that for me. I feel like,
That's out to that. Okay, cool. I like this content. Okay. So this like, it's like halfway through.
it's a little different for you.
It definitely,
right?
it definitely is. That's why I
It's
did
a little
it.
bit more mature, but it's,
It definitely is, but I like it though.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's something a little different vibe for the year. Started off nice.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about now how far you came. Let's talk about before. Which
I mean, what you want to know? Like,
okay, so obviously like you're married now, but let's talk about like the journey, I guess. Trials and tribulations of like when it comes to relationships and stuff, and like when you're younger, like the dating pool, I feel like it's just getting worse and worse with time. So I really need you to put me on game. Like, how did you,
I mean, let me see. Okay. I mean, I guess we could. Okay, so I didn't really start dating until after I was like probably like 19 when I really started dating. Like even in high school, I never took that shit serious because it was
Right.
like
No, that's fact,
my
yeah.
mindset wasn't even there. Like believe it or not, I was like a little hood booger.
No, hey, that's how it be
I was
sometimes.
like a
though.
little hood booger. Like I was outside, like just living my life, like just not a care in the world.
Going to all the functions.
Outside, like not a care in the world. If it was time for me to fight, I'm with whatever. Like that's
It
just
is
the
what
type
it
of time.
is.
That's just the type
Oh
of
my
time
God,
that I was on.
I can't see it. She done came a long way.
Listen, I'm telling you, I be shocking myself sometimes. But like those who know me, people that know me, they always be like, "Yo, I still remember the Rosie that like in middle school type shit." Because that's how far back it was. Like,
Oh my God.
I was always like, I done got arrested before. Like,
You know,
yeah,
not the relatable mom.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. But I didn't really start dating until like. Cause I didn't even really go. I didn't even really go to college, to be honest. Like I low key used to go in and drop out like after the first semester.
I mean, that's normal. That's normal.
So it's like I can't really say college because it's like I didn't really have the full on experience. But yeah, like around 19, 20 is when I really started. One thing about me, and honestly, I feel like men judge women on this, and I don't feel like that's a place for y'all to judge because. If she's doing it responsibly, then I don't see the harm in it. Like when I was young, I was dating a lot. Like I was talk to like 4 or 5 niggas at a time.
So no, let's talk about that because I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Is that not dating? Like,
Okay, thank you because
it's real. It's a double standard. But like, what is wrong with me? On Monday, I go out with Sandy.
Exactly.
On Tuesday, I go out with Veronica. Take her on a date. Wednesday. You get the point.
You're dating to get to know the person.
I'm seeing which one that I like.
You know what's the misconception with men? They feel like, oh, she's talking to all these niggas and she's dating all these niggas. That means she's fucking all these niggas. And that's not the case. Like, why are y'all just automatically assuming that because I'm talking to 4 dudes that I'm fucking with 4, like I'm actually having sexual intercourse with them? Like, that's what y'all don't understand. And I'm dating these dudes so like I can see like which one of these dudes has potential.
Who has your best interest.
And
like,
exactly. And who I feel like, all right, like I'm really interested in and I want to take it to the next level. Obviously, I'm not going to take it to the next level with each and every one of y'all. And so it's got to be one of y'all.
Right.
And that's the whole point of dating, to get to know people and to,
people don't be understanding that though.
I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, that was me. Like I was dating. So prior to meeting my husband, I was in a toxic ass relationship. He was from Brooklyn. And it
damn.
was just toxic, 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 toxic. I don't even know why. Like thinking back on it, I was like, I don't even know why I put myself through that situation. But he had me iron Brooklyn, and every time I was going iron Brooklyn, I had to fear for my life because I didn't know whether I was gonna get shot or go to jail. It was always something. It was that bad. It was that bad. So I was like, yeah, I have to let this go. Like this is not working out for me. But during that time, like when I felt like our relationship was really rocky, and I already knew this wasn't gonna last, and I knew I was gonna end it with him. That's when my husband came into the picture. So he had reached out to me on Instagram. He was interested or whatever. But
So he slid into the DM.
he sure did. But and it's so crazy because I feel like even in that situation, I could have been like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a chance and everything while being in a relationship because that's what some women do. But even then, I was still committed and faithful to my toxic man. Like I was not even trying to give him the time of day. But I let that go. I was like, this is not gonna work. So then that's when I gave him a chance. And the crazy thing is, I never was gonna give him a chance. So that's how God works because I wasn't gonna give him a chance. I was like, I don't want to. He's from Queens. I was like, I don't want to deal with another nigga. I don't know. Yeah. I ain't have time.
So was it because they're from boroughs that you're not from? Like
It's just I was like Queens and Brooklyn is like this.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
how Bronx and Manhattan is. Like so we're like Bronx and Manhattan and
like
Brooklyn and Queens.
cousins.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay. The culture's not too different.
I mean, every borough has its
They got their own
differences.
little swag.
Yeah,
Like,
every borough has its differences. Like, you know, people say, oh, the Bronx is dirty, whatever. But, you know.
And then they say, like, if I'm not mistaken, they say, like, Harlem is, like, flashy. Like,
I feel like out of all the boroughs, so to me, this is how, like, out of all the boroughs, I feel like Queens is known for Queens get the money, right? Brooklyn is known for, like, the scammers.
yeah.
Like, all the scammers and stuff is out there.
A little bit more shiesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harlem, I don't really know because Harlem is not the whole Manhattan. It's just a little strip of Manhattan. It's a little part of Manhattan. So you can't really speak for the whole borough. You can only speak for that little strip. Harlem and Bronx is kind of similar to me. I don't know because growing up in the Bronx and I used to go to Harlem all the time. I'm like, there's not really any difference to me, honestly. Like it always felt the same. But one thing about the Bronx is like, we not pussy. That's one thing. Like out of all the boroughs, I feel like we the toughest, and I feel like everybody will give us that respect. Like, yeah, we the toughest. Like we not scared of nothing. People will be scared to go to the Bronx. Like
I done heard that.
If you from any other borough and you go to the Bronx, it's like you always had to be on time and make sure that you never went by yourself and you never got caught lacking because that was like we was known for everything. We was known for robbing, stealing, shooting, all of that. So
New York politics is so funny because all these places aren't even that far from each other
at all.
But it's just like
I could walk to Harlem from where I was at in the Bronx.
Yeah, see,
I could walk to Harlem, and Queens and Long Island too. Like you could be in Queens right here across the street, and then now you're in Long Island.
See,
so you're in a whole different territory, which is so crazy and bizarre to me. But that's how it is. That's how it is.
That's what's up though. So okay.
But yeah, I was that little hothead growing up.
Another thing. So I wanted to ask. Okay, so like, what was the signs that before he was your husband, like the things that he was doing that like stood out?
Oh, I love telling this story. I love it. So thank you for asking because everybody asks me like, how did you know? Basically, how did I know he was the one?
Yeah.
So he was consistent from before I even gave him the time of day. When I tell you this man was consistent for almost about a year, after I kept telling him like, I'm not interested, he kept going like.
Oh no, I believe it. I done did it before.
So he was so consistent. So when I broke it off with my toxic ex, I was like, I prayed on it though. I prayed on it. Before anything, I was like, God, listen, if this man, I don't want to go into another situation where it's toxic and I'm fighting for my life. Like I want this one to be the one. I prayed on it and then I felt at ease to give him a chance. And when he met me, the first thing he ever said to me, I kid you not, I think I still have the screenshot and conversations. He was like, I'm gonna make you my wife. I'm gonna make you the mother of my child. I'm gonna buy you a house and we're gonna live together. We're gonna be good. I'm gonna take care of you. Wow. Everything this man said, He done did.
He spoke into existence. That's crazy.
He
and
like and never made me feel like I had to beg for it or I had to be on top of it for anything. Like everything this man said, his actions aligned with his words from the beginning. So
wow, damn. But that's why they say like when a man knows, like a man
he
knows,
knows, and he knows, and
he just was bold and just said it right off the bat.
Oh yeah, he knew.
But like a lot of men, they'll just be like,
he's
nah.
from Queens. So one thing about these men from Queens, listen, they real right,
direct,
real right, and real direct. And I never really had a man be so like, I don't want to say aggressive, but like just a man, like a man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I want, just, and it is what it is. Like, this is what I want. And
masculine and
very masculine. So where like I said, I grew up in the Bronx, so I had to grow up with that like kind of toughness, that masculine energy. I never really been in a relationship where I can feel and be in where my full you could feminine, you know.
Let your guard down.
Yes. And for the first time in my life, being with him, it's like
you were able to do that, and
I can breathe now. Yeah, I can breathe. I can do what I'm called. You know, yeah. So it's a blessing, and honestly, I wish that for every woman. And unfortunately, we live in a generation where it's hard.
It's tough right now.
It's tough. It's tough on both ends because I kind of get the men's perspective too, though. Like these ladies,
these ladies putting me through it.
I'm telling you,
I done been through some shit.
Listen, we don't want to settle, but. Ladies, I understand that you don't want to settle, but we also got to be realistic. We live in a whole different generation now. Like, this ain't back in the days when granddaddy and your grandmother
was able to work one job and provide for it. This is totally
where $20 was like you was a millionaire with $20.
Right.
This is not that. We in a whole different generation.
And I don't even want like my wife to work or nothing. But it's the fact that like it's still the fact that like okay. That even if she's in a position like you, she's at home. Yeah, she's still
doing her thing,
making money and like
making money.
What about like emergency fund or something?
Listen,
what if I go to work and
so this is our breakdown. I'm gonna tell you our breakdown. Look, this is our breakdown. My husband takes care of everything. He takes care of all the bills in the house. The only thing I pretty much take care of is whatever money I make is for groceries and anything that the house like necessities like. Anything that the house needs, whatever we run out of, that's me. Like I take care of that. The kids, I buy their clothes.
You in charge of the home, so you know.
So whatever is like inside the home, I take care of that. He takes care of pretty much making sure that we have a home, we have the lights, we have the gas, we have everything. Like, so it's easy for me to save and have emergency funds because I'm not out having to, spend all this money and everything. Like he's taking care of all that.
Yeah.
So it's like. That's why I can rest in my femininity and do what I want to do because I know that he's taking care of what he needs to take care of, but I'm also doing my part. I'm not just working and spending money like, recklessly. Like I'm doing what I need to do just in case anything. Like right now, I'm buying food for storage, like just to have.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow again.
Like
stuff like that.
No, like long term.
Oh, just
long term because you never know you never know what could happen. So. Just having an emergency stash, like canned food and stuff like that, is always a smart thing to do. Like having emergency just bags and stuff just sitting around because you really never know what could happen.
Yes, sir.
So that's like my main focus, just making sure I take care of like inside the house and he takes care of everything else.
That's what's up.
And then, but we got to be realistic about it. Like,
so yeah, so like that's why I hate the conversation, like the 50-50 conversation, because it's just like, you don't know what everybody's formula is different.
Yeah.
Like the percentages might be different, but everybody like.
I feel like you just have to agree with your partner and see what works for y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like how much money do you make? How much money do I make? Combined, how much money do we have together? Okay, what can we do with our money together?
Keep
and then
more money in.
Exactly, and also like how can we, make more money together? Like it's all. People don't think. The thing is, people don't think long term, and then a lot of these people just be superficial. It's just they just go by what they see on social media, and half of the time, this is all BS. Like social media is not real life. Like let's be real. Like I know people. I legit know people that come on social media and act like they are. I don't know. It's everything. Just so it's crazy to me. It's like I know these people in real life.
Oh yeah, this is Atlanta. Like so
I know these people in real life.
I want to talk about that. Like, can we? Yeah, because how long you been in the A?
4 years. But
Okay.
these are even people from back home. Like,
Oh yeah, true.
Just
Because New York, that's another like hot spot flexing city.
I just feel like anywhere.
Yeah,
Like
but
with
I just feel
social
like
media,
out here, it's just I don't
it's
know.
so easy to put up a front. It's so easy to put up a front. Listen, I know girls that rent out cars. I know girls that are renting bags to look a certain way. I know,
That's
and then there's
crazy.
like,
That's-
yes,
that's
you
very-
can rent
that's
bags.
very nasty work.
You can rent, yes,
Wow.
You can rent bags. You can rent shoes. You can rent anything. You go online right now. You type in rent bags, rent shoes, whatever. Like you can literally rent anything just to make yourself look a
Just
certain
to
way.
perceive that
Yes.
image to attract.
Yes. Like, and it's go to Airbnbs, have photo shoots, talking about, oh, my apartment, a property that I just bought. No, like it's none of that. It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
Oh
And
my
then you
God,
still
that's
gotta
a
get back
sickness.
home and rent out a room in your mom's house. Like that's the type of life you're really living. You know what I'm saying? And it's like no shade because if that's what but then living your truth, that's my thing. Living your truth.
Right.
Like just living your truth.
You'll
Everybody
feel
has
better.
their time and everybody has their moment. And when that time comes, then you know. But as of right now,
work for it. Stay down.
but you know, I think people live. I think people fake it till they make it too much. That's what it is. People fake it till they make it too much, and they make that their whole personality. The whole fake it till you make it culture. They take it way too serious, and
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's only to a certain extent. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's just like
if you faking it to the point where that's keeping you stuck on a treadmill because you living so much.
you're not
behind your
progressing
means.
at all, and it's just like you genuinely believe this lie that you fed yourself, and now it's like, you know, how are we going to overcome that? Like, how are we going to get to the next level if you're still stuck in this mindset? Like, you're not growing. There's no progression. You're just
Right.
stuck. But I mean, to each his own. I can't
to each his
complain.
own.
Yeah. I you know, that's not my life. I can't complain. So, yeah. What about you?
What about me?
No, like,